Dante Moss, the son of the great Randy Moss, who most would say became the greatest college wide receiver of all time. And there was a reason for this amount of praise, because the stats he put up in his 3 years were insane. Spending all 3 years at USC, where his first 2 years were with Caleb Williams and his last year was with Malachi Nelson, he was able to put up these unbelievable numbers in just 3 years. Though it's crazy to me, he wasn't able to win a single Heisman with these crazy stats, but he won every single other award he could have possibly won. All in all though, with him being 6'5" and putting up these crazy stats in the NFL Combine, he's definitely going to be a lock for a top 3 draft pick in this year's 2026 NFL Draft. And he could definitely change the culture of any team that decides to draft him. Now, the 3 teams that hold the top 3 picks in the NFL Draft are the Jets, the Giants, and the Panthers. Now, all 3 of these teams have very good defenses, but offensively, they're definitely struggling a lot, and Dante being on their teams would definitely change a lot. Now, starting off with the Jets, they have a great defense, but after losing Aaron Rodgers because he ended up retiring after being on their team, taking all their money, they ended up drafting a new quarterback, Carson Beck, out of Georgia. And after they drafted him, the fans were expecting them to be immediately good, but it's been taking them a little bit of time to go ahead and get adjusted to the NFL. And with these offensive struggles, they only ended the season off with 3 wins, even with that good defense, just due to Beck struggling to not throw the ball to the other team. Now, they do have a great wide receiver in Garrett Wilson, but they do believe that getting Dante to have that Garrett Wilson-Dante Moss duo will make Beck feel a lot more comfortable in the NFL, so that's what they're planning to do with the top 3 pick. Now, just thinking about a Garrett Wilson-Dante Moss duo, that could be nasty. Now, the Giants also hold a top 3 pick in the NFL Draft, but it isn't due to their record, because if you remember, they ended up drafting Caleb Williams in the 2025 draft, and yeah, he had a pretty mid-season. I mean, it wasn't nothing great, but it wasn't trash. They ended the season 7-10. And honestly, they have a pretty good defense, and their offense has a decent amount of talent, but they're just missing that number 1 wide receiver. As right now, their best wide receivers are currently Jalen Hyatt and Emeka Egbuka, who they drafted in the 2024 draft. And while Egbuka had a pretty good season, the front office and the fans still believe that getting Dante Moss will make this offense almost unstoppable. And if I'm saying his last name wrong, I'm sorry. And with Moss and Williams being former college teammates, this definitely be a crazy offense. So they end up trading up into the top 3, and just know it took a lot to get up there. And now lastly, the Panthers. They also hold a top 3 draft pick, and it's really kind of sad and kind of crazy the fact that Bryce Young still doesn't have any talent around him. The front office got to do better. And I mean, since his rookie season, he really hasn't had too good of wide receivers at all. I mean, all they did was sign an old Michael Thomas, and he hasn't done too much. So due to the lack of talent that they're being able to bring Young, I mean, the stats he was able to put up just mediocre. But if they're able to draft Dante Moss in this draft, that'll definitely give Young an amazing wide receiver to throw that ball to. And like, just the fact that the Panthers defense is good, but like their offense has just been so bad, they really haven't been able to win no games. But Dante can definitely change all this. The Panthers gotta just be hungry enough to do whatever they can do to get Dante. And now finally, NFL Draft Day, and with no surprise, with the number 1 pick of the 2026 NFL Draft, the New York Giants select Dante Moss out of USC. Man, this is crazy. Being the first wide receiver drafted at number 1 since Keyshawn Johnson in the 1996 draft definitely means a lot to me. Especially being drafted to a team that has my former teammate, Caleb Williams. And now being drafted to this team that I already know has crazy potential. We got a young star at quarterback in Caleb Williams. And what was a decent wide receiver core is now a great wide receiver core with me, Jalen Hyatt, and Emeka Egbuka. And then of course, you cannot forget about Saquon Barkley, a guy who has been here his whole career. And then you can't forget about the defense, having players like Dexter Lawrence, Kayvon Thibodeau, Deonte Banks, and Bobby Okereke. Happy to say his name. I ain't gonna lie, I'm very happy that they decided to trade up to get me, and I'm ready to ball out this season. Also, here's how like the top 15 or whatever picks was drafted. If you was interested in that, here it is. But now in my first training camp with Caleb Williams, he's trying to teach me a lot of things about the NFL. Because yes, even though we had played with each other for 2 years already in college, we got a good amount of chemistry, but being in the NFL, it's a lot different. See, in college, everybody's fighting to try to get to the NFL, but in the NFL, these are the best of the best, and you know what I'm saying? You got to be at the top of your game every single game. And immediately with Deonte Banks guarding me in this first training camp, I could already feel the difference between college and NFL. I mean, they're way more physical here. Everything, their ball skills are so much better, and everything is definitely going to be a little different. But at the end of the day, I still believe that I'm going to ball out here in the NFL. I'm just too tall, I'm too athletic, I'm a freak of nature. Like, come on now. I said I did pretty decent here in my first training camp against Dante Banks. I won some reps, he won some reps. But now we finna go into the preseason, and in the first game, I'll be able to play one quarter to show off what I can do with Caleb Williams real quick. I know finally it's preseason game 1, and I've been waiting to get on this field. It's not a regular NFL regular season game, but I've been ready for this forever. We're down here 7-0 here on this little out route. I end up getting my first catch of my preseason. Ain't get too much yards off it, but hey, I still got a little catch though. Them boys running the zone here on third down. I'm supposed to get in the middle and stop in the middle, but he ended up throwing me the ball on the post route instead. It worked anyways, got the first. I'm not gonna lie, I'm really excited for this season. Just the fact that I'm on a team with my former college teammate already. It's gonna be kind of like a Burrow, Jamar Chase type of deal, but we're gonna be better. And here in my basically only drive of the game in the first quarter, I'd say we played pretty good, though we did lose this preseason game. I only played the first quarter, so yeah, don't really matter. And while we was on the field, we was doing our thing. Caleb was 5 for 7 with 50 yards, and out of his 5 completions, I was 4 of them with 41 yards. All right, so now in preseason week 2, it's gonna be a little bit more difficult to try to get this ball down the field passing it, because we are playing against the Steelers, who have an amazing defense, amazing pass rush, and also it is raining, so hopefully Caleb Williams don't throw too many incomplete passes. And here on this play, I wanted him to throw the ball up to me just like how we did in college, but that ball just slipped out his hands. Luckily, it did not get picked off. Now, 2nd and 10, he tried to test him, but I feel like he should have threw this ball more outside because bro had the inside leverage on me. It was almost picked off. Luckily, it wasn't. After seeing this play happen, just from looking to the left of me, seeing Jalen Hyatt go up for this catch and come down with it, I already know what we finna be on this season. Cause I'm not gonna lie, with me, Ebuka, and Jalen Hyatt, we're all fast wide receivers. And we can all get that if we need to. If we need to catch that ball, we can. I mean, this is one thing I know is gonna be nasty this season. It's gonna be them fade routes in the red zone from Caleb to me. Touchdown. Me and Caleb got 1 quarter left of playing in this game, and here I'm running a deep crossing route. He cannot guard me at all. I'm just way too fast, getting a big play. Now on this 1st and 10, I'm running a little C route, and he's playing me way too far away. I'm easily getting this first down. 2nd and 4, running a drag where he threw me the ball a little early, and I was able to get the first down, break a tackle, and get taken down. At this point, we clicking. I know what Caleb wants me to do. Even though it's an end route, he wants me to sit here in the middle so that he can throw me that ball, and I'm getting in there for the touchdown. So far this preseason, we haven't seen much of Ebuka, but here he beats that DB off the press easily, using his speed and getting down that field untouched for the touchdown. Now, if you thought we was done balling, we are not. Here on 1st and 10, running a drag route, and I turned this little small route into something way bigger, getting this first down and finally getting tackled out of bounds. And here on 2nd and 7, I feel like I had a step over this DB, but this ball wasn't thrown right. I feel like if it was thrown a little bit more to the outside and up, I would have definitely had it. And that was about it. That was about all we could play in this game. We ended up winning the preseason game, but next game, we get a lot more time to play. But in this game, only 1/2, and just look at Caleb's stats. Crazy. And at this point, just as we thought, we're just picking up from where we left off in college. 9 catches, 129 yards, and 2 touchdowns in the first half. Now we're in our last preseason game, and we'll be able to play 3 quarters here, and this game did not start off how we thought it would. Caleb tried to force the ball into Saquon, but it was a little inaccurate, went straight to that linebacker. The Raiders defense been playing pretty well against us right now, but here on 3rd and 10, I end up getting open across the middle on the end route, catching the ball, getting to the logo. It worked on the right side, so guess what? We said let's do it again, but this time on the left side, coming into the middle of the field, catching the ball again, getting to about 30. I told my boy Caleb, hey man, every time we're in the red zone, you already know who to look to. Every single time. 1v1 against a cornerback, that is barbecue chicken. I'm not gonna lie, one of the biggest differences between college and here is the fact that in college, this catch would have definitely been made, but they ball skills in the NFL just way better. On 3rd and 9, Caleb tried to fit this ball into Ebuka, but it was not able to get there in time. Defender made a great play on the ball. Here in the slot on 2nd and 10, this DB actually played pretty well. Pretty good technique on this play, and it was a little bit overthrown. I feel like if that ball was in my vicinity, I would have made the catch. And on 3rd and 10, coach drew up a play so that I could just get this ball thrown up to me to see what I can do, but there ended up being 2 defenders there because that ball took way too long to get to me. The ball got deflected. Now we're down 24-10 in the 3rd quarter, and their defense is just getting a lot better. They just starting to start sending blitzes and everything. end up getting sacked. It's a good thing this is a preseason game because we're down 27-10 and it's a little bit inaccurate. I had to try to run back for that ball. Wasn't able to secure it. This is gonna be our last drive of the game, so we gotta make it count. And here on 3rd and 16, he's hitting me across the middle of the field to go ahead and extend our drive. Then on 2nd and 5, he tried to hit this wide receiver wide open on this out route, but it was just overthrown completely, and that was our last play. Yeah, man, compared to the first 2 games, we definitely, you know what I'm saying, there's a lot of things that we can work on as a team. A lot of things, you know what I'm saying, we just gonna learn from this going into the first game of the season. And I mean, yeah, like Caleb was 13 for 28, 127 yards. He threw 2 picks in this game too. So let's get that out the way in the preseason. Let's not go into the regular season with that. And I was only able to get 4 catches with 69 yards and 1 touchdown. I ain't gonna lie, I'm ready for my NFL debut.